What's going on? We got about 8 days, right? Left to school. I don't think we'll finish this, but we can sure try. So hopefully we had that good class discussion. Family finally get some good news. Well, they get a lot of bad news because Tori doesn't do what she's supposed to. Jules and Sawyer are going to talk about that today. And then, she doesn't, they can't save any lives. So that's obviously some bad news. Then some very good news is that the dad and the mom look like they're going to get the meatball truck going again, maybe some income for the family. And their new landlord says they can move in sooner than they thought. So a couple good things. We'll pick up from there. A little bit of packing going on, some back and forth. Not an argument between Sawyer and Jules, but I think Sawyer makes a pretty good point here. So let's continue. We'll see how far we can get today. We ended on chapter 22, so that's good. Mom and Dad start preparing the sauce on Aunt Mary's stove for tomorrow's big day in the meatball truck. We go back to our game. Remember, I think they're playing apples and apples, eventually forfeiting, so the little kids win. They were probably sick of playing like, you win. The little kids are like, yay. Because Aunt Mary says they have to go to bed soon as the game is over. And we just want to get rid of them because we're selfish teenagers like that. Nick sticks around and hangs out with us because all his friends are working tonight. He doesn't say much. We don't really have anything in common, even though he's between Trey and me in age, and we played together a lot when we were little kids. We haven't been close since I started elementary school, even when he spent an occasional day working for the restaurant. So things are somewhat quiet, and we can't talk about what happened with the vision, even if we want to. Strangely, I don't want to. I snuggle into Sawyer, and he drapes his arm over my shoulders, and it feels wonderful to be safe and stress-free for once. I think about the man who has to bury his parents. I look up at Sawyer and murmur, should we go to the funeral? And I love that he immediately knows what I'm talking about. We can do that. I'll try to find out when it is. I nod. He smiles. Now, I'm maybe just too selfish, but I'm wondering, would you go, if you were Jules, if you were in this situation, would you go to the funeral? I mean, I know nobody likes to go to funerals. Nobody, oh yeah, that's awesome. But I don't know. It just seems like that's a private moment between him and, his family. It's like, again, Jules and Sawyer intruding, but it could be just me. But I'm like, I don't know about that. But it's nice that Jules wants to do it. I just don't think she has to do it. I don't know. What do you think? All right. When I get a text message, all right, I think we're at the top here, right? Yeah. When I get a text message, I look at my phone. It's from Tori. I say, I open and read it. I'm so sorry. That's all there is. I raise an eyebrow and mutter. Jules is not impressed. Okay, she's talking about herself in the third person. I shove my phone back into my pocket. What was that? Sawyer says near my ear. Tori says she's sorry. Good. Maybe she understands it now. What'd you say back? I grunt. Sawyer shifts so he can look at my face. Jules, he says, I know how you feel, but there are a few factors here that you're not really considering. One, she couldn't see the phone screen because of the vision playing out on it. Two, her mother dictates absolutely everything. Her mother ought to be the one saying sorry, I mutter. And three, Sawyer continues in a louder voice, pretending he didn't hear me, Tori has been heavily medicated this entire time. Do you even remember when you were on your pain medication in the hospital? Do you happen to recall Trey on pain meds? I do, Ben offers from across the room. He was emboldened. Whoa, Trey says. We agreed not to talk about that. All right. And I can imagine Trey, if you've ever seen those videos, was it David? That was a few years ago, maybe before you were even born. But this guy, David, just had his wisdom teeth out, I think. His dad filmed him. He was all like loopy and saying some kind of crazy things. So it seems like Trey really liked Ben, and maybe if he wasn't on pain meds, he never would have like approached him or smiled at him or whatever he did to let him know he was interested. I think that's why Ben was saying that. He was emboldened. So People get weird on pain meds. I know I've been on pain meds, and people have told me I was weird. My wife, when I got my wisdom teeth out. All right. Let's see here. Where were we? Whoa, we agreed not to talk about that. I glance. We're right down there. I glance at Nick, who's playing some game on his phone and ignoring us. Anyway, Sawyer says, you can't judge her equally with someone who can actually stay awake for a 4-hour stretch and doesn't appear to be stoned all hours of the day and night. I sigh. You're right. I know. I just don't want to forgive her. That's up to you, I guess, Sawyer says. Yes, it is, I say. But I know Sawyer is the one being reasonable here. I'm sorry, I say. I'll think about it. Dad and Mom said they can't afford to hire us to help quite yet. We say we'll work for free, but it's like they're having some sort of weird bonding time or something, and they don't want us along. So while they head off to the public market Saturday morning, probably to buy supplies, right, for the food, or maybe that's where they're going to park the truck. I don't know. Trey bolts for the shower, and Rowan and I are supposed to pack. This is kind of funny here because Rowan says, well, pack what? Remember, all their stuff was burned up in the fire? Pack what? Rowan asks from the middle of the living room floor where she's sitting like a pretzel with her hair all messed up from sleep. She's cranky. We don't own anything. I look around the living room, realizing we've managed to collect a good deal of stuff since the fire. I don't know, all this stuff, I guess. What are we supposed to put it in? She whines. Then I think they're supposed to make a joke here. This is not funny. This is not funny right here. I glare at her. What about we shove it in your face hole? How about we cram it up your butt nose? We stare at each other. Finally, I concede. Butt nose is funny. Thank you. It was an accident. Oh, really? You can cut the sarcasm. She gets up and kicks me in the shin with her bare foot. I snort my mockery in her direction. She kicks me again, and I grab her by the back of the neck and shove her to the couch and sit on her. She pokes her fingers at me, trying to find a sensitive spot, so I'm forced to bounce up and down on her while giving her a noogie. Then she hits her mark. Whoa! I yell. Jump off of her. Totally out of bounds, loser. That was totally my butt nose. She sits up and smooths her hair, trying not to laugh. I back my way towards the kitchen in case she plans to try something else and scrounge around for some shopping bags to pack our junk in. Somewhere during the scuffle, I got another text from Tori. I glance at it. I am really sorry, and I need to talk to you. I groan and shove the phone back into my pocket. Great. Tori's feeling guilty now. I call out to Rowan, and I skirt a small cousin in the dining room. Like she goes around her. Yeah, did you know skirt can be a verb? Yeah, you might skirt a little cousin. That's just kind of hanging out there. I skirt a small cousin in the dining room and head back to the living room with the bags. I throw a few at Rowan's head. How can you tell? She asks. She just sent me another text. Says she's really sorry and she wants to talk. Rowan puts her clothes into a bag. What'd you tell her? I haven't responded. She shrugs. She's probably trying to deal with the shock of it. I feel a twinge in my gut, but I'm not giving in. She could have prevented all of this. Yeah, I think she probably knows that now, Rowan says with a smirk. How would you know? You don't even know her. It's a logical guess. Besides, you two aren't exactly BFFs either. Yeah, we are. We're BFFs. I know everything she's thinking, and you know nothing. Rowan rolls her eyes. I'm just saying, you're not being very gracious. She practically died. This is a lot to take on from a hospital bed. I put an index finger in the air, but she didn't die because Sawyer and I risked our lives for her, and she did not do the same for her fellow humans of Chicago. Rowan sighs and gives up. For some reason, I don't feel very triumphant about my win. Chapter 23. I mean, I keep siding with Tori because we got to remove ourselves from everything we know about these visions, put ourselves into Tori's point of view. Like, I mean, how would she know? I mean, Sawyer brings up some good points. pain meds. She almost just died. I mean, her stomach is all messed up, so messed up she can't even get up out of a hospital bed. So she's hurting quite a bit. Whoever these vision gods are or whatever, like maybe they shouldn't have picked the girl that almost died. Maybe they don't care. Who knows? But yeah, I side with Sawyer here, and Rowan even's like, I mean, so she's having these visions. She's on pain meds. She might be thinking it's that, even though these two weird strangers are telling her one thing. It is a little hard to believe that she is seeing the future and she can stop something. But I think most of us are thinking, right? She's probably going to have another vision. And this is the one they have to stop. This is the one that has something to do with drowning. All right, where were we? 23. Sunday is a day of joy. We have a new place, not just an apartment, a whole little house and a neighborhood across from my old elementary school. And there's no restaurant attached. It'll be months at least before I have to go to school smelling like pizza. Mean people will cease to recognize me. I may survive high school after all. Ben and Sawyer show up at the new place, surprising us with a pickup truck full of used furniture. My dad stares from the garage. Yes, we have a little garage. And they start unloading it onto the driveway because, yes, we have a driveway too. And walks over to them. It's all this, Dad says. We brought you some furniture, Ben says. Thought you could use it. Is it okay if we show you what's here? Dad's stern gaze sweeps over the scene. You don't have to keep any of it, Sawyer replies. He stops unloading, looking uncertain. We just thought. He wipes a bead of sweat from his temple and stops talking, like scared to death. My dad shakes the hard look off his face and clears his throat. We can use it, at least for a little while, until our new stuff comes. He lifts his chin slightly. Thank you. He says thank you? Wow. But we all know our new stuff hasn't been decided on, much less ordered. We're being extra cautious with the insurance money since we don't know how long it'll take to get the new restaurant running. I leave Sawyer outside to bond with Dad, and follow Rowan into our new bedroom where we each currently have 2 bags of clothes and toiletries and basically nothing else. We will have new beds to assemble later today, and I'm hoping there's a dresser on that pickup truck. Where'd they get all that stuff? Rowan asks. No idea, I say. I'm not sure I want to know. By evening, the house is starting to feel like a home. And the best part is that there are no little cousins running around. It's a little bit bigger than our old apartment above the restaurant, or at least it feels that way without all the piles of junk. Okay, so it might take Dad a few years to start collecting all that stuff again. Hopefully he stops. I worry that this place will fill up too. And I don't know how to prevent that from happening, but I'm sure as hell going to try. Sawyer returns later in his car, having taken the truck away to see if we want to pick up some burgers. And then he's gone again with our orders. When he returns with the food, I watch him as he ever so slowly works his way into the good graces of my dad. And I think that makes Sawyer a good quality guy. I'll just have to keep him. All right, that's probably a good place for us to stop. Top of 23. Hopefully I can remember that for tomorrow. Oh, wait a second. Okay. They're sitting alone on the steps. I didn't want anything that we'd have to skip. I didn't want to have to skip anything. All right. Just kidding. Have a good one. Some poetry next. Adios, amigo.